Welcome to the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I am your host, Justin Allen Hayes, founder and executive director of Voices for Voices. Voices for Voices is the #1 ranked podcast and TV show where people turn to for expert mental health, recovery, and career advancement intelligence. Our show is all about teaching you insanely actionable techniques that help you prosper, grow your self-worth and personal brand. So, if you are a high achiever or someone who wants more out of life, whether mentally, physically, or spiritually, make sure to subscribe to our TV show and podcast right now. As you can see, our show publishes episodes every week that focus on case studies, real-life examples, actionable tips, and in-the-trenches reports and interviews from subscribers just like you. If that sounds like something that could help you grow personally or professionally, then make sure to join me by subscribing. And also share with a friend or two and your family. We'd love to have you aboard. This episode is part 2 from the episode we had last week with in-studio guest, Voices for Voices board member Jeremiah Tomko, also a U.S. military veteran from the U.S. Navy. And we invite you to check that episode out if you haven't already, because it is very inspiring to hear a active and now U.S. military veteran talking about their time in the service, and it really at least made me feel proud to be a U.S. citizen here, to have individuals like Jeremiah that really put their lives on the line for not just me or you, but for everybody in the country. So Jeremiah is with us again in studio, but this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to shift from a transition period from when Jeremiah left the military honorably and entered civilian life, and to where he's at today, and how mental health, substance abuse, many topics that us at Voices for Voices are trying to bring light to, trying to knock out the stigma around, help others. And I guess first we'll jump into a certificate that Jeremiah received when he was in the military. And it is a prevent certificate, and it reads, quote, "This is to certify that CS3 Tomko, Jeremiah J. has completed the course of instruction in alcohol misuse and drug use prevention, interpersonal responsibilities, health and readiness, and personal finances." And by earning this certificate, Jeremiah will talk about how from the time of receiving or earning the certificate to transitioning into civilian life, what that meant and how that led him to where he is now, of leading a life of serving others in the community, with our organization as a Voices for Voices board member, and just as a human being. So Jeremiah, thank you for joining us again.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate you having me back here.
Yeah. So again, thank you for your service.
Yes, sir.
We really appreciate that, and all that you've done and you continue to do, and to shed light. I understand that you work a little bit with the VA even to this day, and that's important for a number of reasons.
Yes, sir.
So as we talk about substance abuse, reentry, individuals that have been incarcerated or are incarcerated and are set to be released at a certain point, there are a lot of things that an individual at that life stage needs just as a human being, which sometimes us we take for granted. Sometimes in most cases, I dare to say, an individual is released from the Department of Corrections, and it's like, okay, you're released, and there's not usually maybe a plan to go with on okay, where are they going to live? How are they going to feed themselves? How are they going to work? How are they going to even look for a job? How are they going to find a mentor? And all those things. And can you touch on just that transition as you were exiting the military, how mental health kind of maybe impacted that area of your life and others, and how that led you to start the journey to get to where we're at today?
Excellent questions. Regarding this certificate, it's a program that is required, to my knowledge. When I was in, you had to go through this. I don't remember the exact name of the program, but this was a certificate that you needed to leave, and I think I had done it early because I didn't get out till 2006.
Okay.
And I think I got out. August would have been my out date specifically. So I think I might have got out around June because I had some time saved. Okay. So you could either have got out early, or whatever the plan you wanted was. So I did get out in 2006, and completed my 4 years honorable discharge as well.
So how did mental health, substance abuse, reentry, how did those topics and terms kind of take hold in your life? To complete this program in the military, but then when you're finished with your active service, to transition back into civilian life.
I mean, I was 20 to 24 when I was in the military, and we were busy a lot. I mean, when I was on that ship, USS Battalion Legion 5, we were constantly in and out, between missions, and at one point, the ship needed fixed, so we were kind of on a standstill and standby in that perspective. All I can say is for those folks out there want to join the military, definitely stay grounded with good people. Unfortunately, I had associated with some individuals, whether it be they were the Navy or civilian, and looking back, I was like, well, I probably should have hung around or spent time with more positive influenced individuals. That's why I emphasize to find a mentor or just good people to associate with, because I did get involved in some things, not like illegal, per se, because the military drug test. But I did get involved in some things. Looking back, that I should not have done that, because who knows health-wise how that may or may have not affected my health this day, either physically, physiologically, mental health related, even spiritually, as well. So that's important to think about those things.
It really is, because as human beings, we wake up each day, hopefully, and we have decisions to make everything from, should I brush my teeth, should I wash my face, should I take a shower?
Indeed.
What should I wear to, whether that's looking for a job or being employed, going to work, what to eat, where to get the food, we have lots of decisions to make every day, and that can get overwhelming, especially for individuals that are looking at being released from incarceration, and I think, with our times just as human beings spent on earth, we can either be against people that have put in their time for whatever they've done, because I think it's fair to say we've all have some type of skeleton in the closet, if not many.
Yes,
I
sir.
have many. So I'm not speaking from the point of preaching that I'm any better, because I'm not. I have plenty of things. And so to have individuals who have made decisions at a certain point, and now they've put their time in, and it's time for that release to get to those next steps. How did that type of work, how did that interest you? And I know you had along the way before current state, different milestones along the way where start something and not work out, and I've been in that spot. Can you talk about just, I guess, the mental health side and the substance abuse, as well as your career of you mentioned kind of your motto when we were off camera talking about each year, as each year comes to a close, where am I at, having that military mentality, and how that has kind of led. So kind of on parallel paths, the mental health and then the career, if you're able to.
Yeah, absolutely. I can elaborate on that. Yeah, getting out of the military was kind of rocky. That would be another episode. But I did end up at the Sheraton Suites Hotel, which was a good experience, helping to define my culinary background. Unfortunately, I did not stay there longer than approximately a year. Just kind of one of those things in the military, if you don't rank up, in the civilian platform, let's keep it moving. So, from the culinary field, I ended up working at a factory, and that seemed to be pretty well, progressive-wise, just to do something different and try to earn some more income. And then found myself kind of cycling through jobs at one point, and went back to school and studied auto mechanics at one point, just to change things up and maybe try to find something different career path wise, because I do like automotive technology. That's very fascinating, and I guess that just wasn't for me. So eventually I got a job at a call center, a very good call center actually, and I did a year there. It seemed pretty good, and then it just wasn't enough, something rather, and I'm not a numbers person, so I would tell anybody in the call center career to have your numbers well. And then went back into kind of like factory work, and I will say, for folks out there looking for a job, be careful of factory work, because there are people, with substance issues and things of that matter. So if you got issues, anybody in reentry or in general, just be careful. And then from there, I've always been involved in the community, volunteering my time, besides the military. We did humanitarian efforts in 2005 with Operation Katrina, between Louisiana and Mississippi, actually. We were actually the first ship after the storm passed to be there as a supply ship, and then, landing troops, and we were in joint efforts with the National Guard, helicopter operations, land operations, was a huge effort. So I got out and ended up working with the Salvation Army, helping them with the culinary aspect. And that was an honor, actually, to help them out. And I've also volunteered at local food pantry as well. Like I said, it's important to give back to our community. And and over the years, between helping the community and just kind of discovering, where I need to be, where do I fit in the community?
Yeah.
Ended up back at another factory. And at one point, it was third shift, I believe, when I stopped working there. I'm just like, well, I need to do something else. Like my gifts, my heart is into, I believe, working with people. That is very important to me. So anybody out there, definitely find out what you do best and just, aim high for those goals. Right now I work at a place doing case management, and it's a lot of need out there for reentry or non-reentry. I mean, people in general. Just needing referrals to like you said, mental health. I do work with the VA regarding medical. So I do appreciate the VA, what they've done for me, physical and mental. And there's nothing wrong with getting counseling.
No. Yeah, I agree with the counseling. Whether you think you need it, you want it, don't want it, it is something for me that's been really a lifesaver in a sense, kind of being that person, that individual that you could talk to, that will just sit there and listen, and they'll ask questions if the topics come up and are alarming or dangerous, but have somebody just listen, I think it's huge. And one thing that I think individuals may think about, stigma-wise around counseling is, well, I don't know what I'm going to say when I get there, and and I think that's something that I had to get over, and I know people that are close to me that are possibly in that situation of, well, what am I going to say? What are they going to tell me? Are they going to put me on medication? And have all these what ifs. And there's tons of research that says the things that we say what if to, I think it's like 80-90% of those never even happen. And so we spend so much time thinking about what if, that if we could just kind of, like I've had to do and continue to do, is just get over myself, get over my ego,
right,
and just step forward and say, look, I can't do it on my own. And I know for you, along the way, faith has been a big part of your life, and serving and giving back to the community. Can you talk about how that's really helped as well? Kind of a little bit like going to get counseling, but in that respect, can you maybe touch on that from your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Grew up in the church. That's definitely helped, like the spiritual aspect. It's having that comfort, having the Lord in my life. I'm not, I haven't lived a perfect life, of course, but that's definitely helped me over the years with any pillar or barriers that I've have.
Yeah, and so to just talk a minute on kind of emotions of, talk about the military and being happy to be able to serve with the work that you do now, and as you're, again, continuing to find things that not only benefit the community but benefit you as well. Can you talk about how that makes makes you feel and how an individual or individuals watching and listening may have something that they really are passionate about, and they're doing something that completely the opposite to maybe start changing maybe some of the ways to get into that spot, because they know things we like to do, that we want to do, or things we're going to do good and the best at, and we'll probably stick around a little bit longer at those types of employment opportunities versus ones that we might not.
Yeah, I'd say the first step is, if there's a need, if someone needs help, I'd say that'd be the most challenging for anybody, even myself, the skill of help.
Yeah.
Asking for help, like if a person even acknowledges that they need help, as opposed to do they need help, and then if they do need help, do they want or not? Because I've talked to other individuals in the community, and there's just so much help out there. Like they just need to reach, that avenue. So whether it be you, me, Voices for Voices, the VA, I could throw a lot of referral sources out there. They're just they're waiting for the individual. Like, when are they ready? Like there was a point in my life, I just, hey, I need help with this. Like that pride gets in the way. In some people's life. Once they get past that pride barrier, like I said, if need be, they need this specific help. Like you're a financial expert, so you could tell someone a lot about finances. And have a background in culinary. Maybe someone doesn't know how to cook, or maybe someone doesn't know how to budget. It's just amazing how we're all put together in this web and network. Networking is important.
And I think that is so big, is that networking. And I think one of the areas to think about for our organization is, looking forward, is to continue networking, but continue to network kind of in the right spots. Like where, we meet somebody, we come in contact, but does that fit, kind of what we want to do as an organization? And, you can think of it as a term of, paying it forward, but then we can also think of, paying it too much forward, where we do too much maybe in certain areas and go, oh, wait a minute, we need to get back to, like you mentioned in the previous episode, get back to being grounded and that foundation of where we're at. It's okay to stray a little bit, but whether it's an organization or a person, you stray too much, maybe that's in substances, maybe that's alcohol, maybe it's domestic violence, maybe it's something that is unhealthy and illegal.
Sure.
How do we kind of right the ship a little bit? And I know we've had a guest on our show, as well as she was our Voices for Voices Ambassador of the Year for 2023, Judge Allison Breaux with the Hope Court. If somebody's going through, that Department of Corrections and through that way with her, she's made a huge difference in the community.
Absolutely.
And I think that you don't have to be like, well, I'm not a leader, or I don't have the finances, or I don't have these things. Well, just find out what you have, and we'll start there. And I don't have a military background, you do. And so you're able to share that, what some of those experiences have been and were like, and how those that structure has continued to follow as you're going through life, and not only for you, but for the people that you impact, that you help. And someone might say, well, that's a little bit too much. Well, it's always that thought of, well, if we don't make a goal, we're not going to move forward. So we could have, we have big goals as our followers, our listeners, our donors, that we want to help, 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. Humongous goal.
Indeed.
And And I think that if we didn't make that goal, then maybe some of the strides we've made and are coming down the pike wouldn't have come about, because we may have been maybe too nearsighted on, like, okay, we're gonna do this. So it's how you balance kind of where we're at today with, okay, where we want to get to. And again, we know nobody's perfect. Anybody that claims it is not correct. Nobody's perfect. We can try to be. I think the biggest thing, we can try to just be in balance and just be in touch with what our body and our mind needs. I think that's the closest any of us are going to get to being perfect. It's like, okay, I need this. Okay, I have an appointment in 4 weeks, but I really need to talk to somebody this week because there's somebody in my family passed away or some event impacted them.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. And even for me, being in active recovery, that I've had to do, where if there's an event that happens, I've had to call and reschedule and move up an appointment. And that in itself is hard to do, because it's like you're sometimes in this dark spot and the depression and don't want to do that. And say, I don't want to pick up the phone and then call. And those things are very minor, but when somebody has certain diseases, illnesses,
True.
It's hard to do. It's hard to say, well, I'm going to get up, I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to get a shower. Those things, for just whatever reason, are tougher. So it's just, how do you manage it as best as you can, and who's on your team, that it's not just us, that we have people we can reach out to for advice, and that's huge.
Absolutely.
So we have about a minute left. This episode, I think, it went faster than last week's episode.
Right.
So again, thank you for your service to the country. Thank you for what you're doing for us at Voices for Voices, but in a bigger spotlight for the community, for others. We couldn't be where we're at today and where we're going, and some of the individuals that we're crossing paths with, and going to be able to share their stories in a couple different areas we haven't touched as much as we should, but we're going to do that, and none of that could have been done without you. So
I appreciate everybody,
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate
You're
you so much.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else? We got about 30 seconds.
Just one day at a time. Like I said, keep positive, keep focused. And I appreciate all our military vets and military out there right now. I think about them, and it's important to do so, and prayers out to them. Absolutely. And we want to thank you, our listeners, our viewers, checking out our transcript. Again, we have over 130 episodes. Check us out. We have something for everybody. And we want to thank Jeremiah for joining us this episode and a previous episode. And until next time, I am Justin Allen Hayes, founder, executive director of Voices for Voices. And until next time, be a voice for you or somebody in need.